on the left want to do everything they can to destroy our reputation. What do? They call us racist, they call us misogynist, they call us sexist, they call us every name they can find to somehow destroy our reputations in the general public. They hate conservatives, and they really hate Make America Great Again Republicans, right? Well, it's interesting because they will stage crimes to set us up. I mean, we all remember the Jussie Smollett case in Chicago, which was totally blown to smithereens, a bogus, fake hate crime against that Hollywood star that he set up. What about on college campuses? Do you know there's a growing trend of fake, bogus, hoaxes, hate crimes, hate crime hoaxes going on college campuses across the country? Well, an organization that has exposed this is the College Fix. And recently they've written an article about the latest number of hoaxes on college campuses across the country. And I want to bring in Jenn Kabbany with the College Fix, who's been researching this. Jenn, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure. So why don't you tell me what you found?
Well, there's been 7 campus hate crime hoaxes across America in 2023 alone, including in February when University of Pennsylvania basketball fans were accused of yelling racial slurs at Rutgers basketball fans. Turns out, nope, that wasn't the case. After an investigation, it was just a bunch of rowdy fans. There was no racial slurs. We also had an incident in MIT in March in which they found a bunch of homophobic flyers all over campus. Come to find out, after an investigation, it was actually posted by progressive students who were just trying to make a point about free speech.
Jenn, what do you think the motivation is for this?
Well, we live in a post-racist society, no matter how much the left tries to convince us that we don't. We are the least racist nation on the globe right now. And so the left has to manufacture hate in order to prove it exists, and nowhere is that more evident than the college campuses. We had 7 so far this year and dozens in the years prior.
So when you look at this is happening all across the country, is it not?
All over campuses, Ivy League, state schools, even high schools and community colleges.
Who do you think's organizing it?
You know, there's a victim ideology among young people who want the attention. I mean, victims nowadays are celebrated as courageous heroes on campus. So being the victim or a target of an alleged hate crime actually comes with accolades and praise. So there's a kind of a sick and twisted motivation to do your own hate crime, because then, you know, people tell you how brave you are and celebrate you for going through such a traumatic experience.
So you look at the 7 that you found. Do college police agencies investigate these? Is there any punishment once they're found to be fake?
Sometimes police investigate them. Sometimes they don't. And usually what we find is when the police do investigate them and they come to find out it was a hoax, the case just quietly disappears. When it's first announced, there's hand-wringing, there's memos from campus DEI deans, there's browbeating. And then 3 months later, oops, let's just quietly close that case.
And the kids who are, I guess, is it kids? Are there teachers involved, or is it outside actors?
Occasionally, we had a professor who had this like lengthy typed note accusing, horrible words I won't say here. The police investigated, and then the professor clammed up and refused to cooperate with police after they started asking questions like, where did you get this note? When did it arrive? How did it arrive? All of a sudden, he was an unwilling, complainant. So they had to close the case.
It seems to me like when I look at some of these cases and others like shutting down free speech, that the administration of these colleges and universities quietly either enable it at worst, but tolerate it at best.
They certainly enable it, because when they find out it's not a hoax, they never make these same announcements that they do when the discovery is first had. When something is written on a whiteboard or just chalked on the sidewalk. I mean, they cancel class, they hold kumbaya, the meetings, the bemoaning. And then when they find out it really wasn't anything. Actually, when it was actually a student of color doing it, they never tell the campus body what has really happened, what really went on.
So they take a cue out of the mainstream media and just let it disappear without having to come clean.
Exactly.
Yeah. Amazing. Is there any pushback from those on campus?
Well, unfortunately, not really, because a lot of the conservative and libertarian and center right students just want to survive. They want to get their degree and get out of there. So, and then there's a couple of activists, students with Turning Point USA or Young America's Foundation, and they'll raise a fuss and they'll say, hey, this isn't right. But unfortunately, they're few and far between. And the vast majority of students who, would say that's unfortunate that these hate crime hoaxes are happening aren't going to make a big stink about it because they don't want to become the next target.
Yeah, amazing. I appreciate the work the College Fix is doing. You got a lot of work cut out for you. I mean, we know that these universities and colleges are a bastion of liberalism. We've really seen this really pick up over the last 5 to 10 years. Is there any hope moving forward? Is it getting worse? Is it getting better? Where does it stand?
There is a pendulum that swings, and we see that there's more awareness now of just how bad these colleges and universities have become. Awareness among parents, lawmakers, watchdog, and students. So they sort of go in with their eyes wide open, and I think awareness is the first step. And you're seeing states like Florida and Texas and North Carolina, try to pass laws to forbid DEI and equity mandates so that equality reigns in their states. So there's a pushback we're seeing that gives me hope. But I promise you, there is never a dull moment on college campuses today.
I guarantee that is true. Jenn, thank you so much for coming on the program today. We appreciate it.
Anytime.
All right, thank you. All right, folks.